Okay, I just taken a shower. My toddler is asleep, so I'm gonna try to do this really quick because you guys want to know how I did my Vine taxes. I so appreciate all the comments with you guys pounding on my door being like, how did you do this? How did it turn out? Here's the thing, we're not gonna know for possibly even up to 3 years how it turned out. So that's the unfortunate reason. And that's one reason I haven't done this video yet, is because I do not want people to copy me. I need to do this disclaimer, okay? And this is not like a disclaimer, you know, like don't do what I do. This is not what that is. Because if the IRS decides that I shouldn't be filing the way that I am filing, then I will be charged a lot of money in interest and fees. So this is not the way to save money until we are certain that it works, okay? So I believe to the core of my being, this is how taxes are supposed to work. I have studied up what the IRS says on it. If you've watched my previous videos, you know that I have gone to the IRS office. I've consulted with multiple CPAs on this matter. And this is the Amazon Vine program is a very strange thing for taxes. I've had CPAs tell me it's a gray area. Most of them say they've never heard of anything like this before. The IRS reps said that they've never heard of anything like this before. So this is an area that everyone's navigating kind of blindly. There is a way to file taxes that is the for sure way, will not get you in trouble. And that's the way a lot of people file, which treats the products, the estimated value of the products as income, and then you pay taxes on that income. That is the safe way to file currently, and that is what I currently recommend, just because I don't want it to blow up in our faces and you to have to pay a whole lot more in interest and fees, and to just have this come unexpected out of the blue. I am in the very unique position that even though we are very low income, we have a nest egg saved up. And I have my husband's consent to take this risk because so many people are in this position. According to IRS rules, like, you should not be able to owe more in taxes than you received in income. That's just bizarre. So anyway, I've gone into that a lot more detail in my previous videos, but suffice it to say, I have a lot of people being like, oh, you just want the exception to not pay taxes. That's not true. I want to pay the taxes that are fair and the taxes that are actually owed. So I'm going to show you how I filed my taxes for the year of 2022. I'm going to walk you through how I did that. I did not use a CPA. I used free fillable forms. And this is not a follow my example thing. This is a here's what I did and we'll see how it turns out. I have heard back, it's been accepted, it's been approved, but that doesn't mean anything. They have up to 3 years to audit me, so this is kind of a long-term wait and see thing. A part of me is even kind of hoping that I get audited, just because then we get an answer either way. I could actually speak with the auditor, I can show him or her all of my records, and I can just be like, look, here's everything. Here's what seems right to me based on how the IRS works and everything, and I can get an answer back on yes, this is approved, or no, you can't do this. And then I can tell that to you guys. You know, I can be like, okay, the auditor agrees with me. This is actually a thing. And then I would suggest maybe you can get away with this. And by get away, again, I don't mean doing anything wrong. It's just unconventional, and we don't know yet. So it's a weird thing to kind of hope that I get audited, but unless or until I get audited, we will not get real answers. But let me show you what I did, just because you guys really want to know, and I'll just document the process. Again, this is risky. If you do it, then it is at your own risk. The IRS will charge you a lot in interest and fees, and that is my head on the chopping block that I am doing, because this is the hill I've chosen to die on. A lot of people are in this situation and do not have a nest egg to fall back on. So I'm doing this for you guys, and also just because my sense of justice is really raised with this. So I'm just gonna go through this. Schedule C, Form 1040, profit or loss from business. And you can get these forms online for free fillable forms, or the IRS website. You don't have to pay anything to get these. Okay, I just need to breathe. This is a tough topic for me. So, the big questions. Principal, business, or profession, including product or service. And I read up on the instructions for this as well. For each question I wasn't sure about, it does include an instructions manual thing that I do recommend reading pretty thoroughly if you're doing your own taxes. So I put in there, contracted product reviewer of consumer, household, and personal items. I decided to err on the side of more information rather than less. If I just say I'm a product reviewer, it sounds like I just buy whatever I want and then review it, and then I'm like, it's a business! And so contracted, I felt like really showed like, look, I have a contract with a very large company to review products. And then people would be like, what do you review? That's one of the biggest questions I get when I'm talking with CPAs or someone with the IRS. What is it that you review? Like, some people are like, do you review cars? Like, do you just like have this massive collection of cars? No, consumer, household, and personal items. If I just say household and personal items, then I feel like it doesn't show that I'm just a regular consumer. I'm just someone who gets products and writes a review for them. That's it. So I feel like putting that as, this is my main business, is a contracted product reviewer of consumer, household, and personal items. I just feel like gives a really good overall picture of what I do. Now, there is a code. You have to have a code for what your business is. The code that I picked, you can see it right here, the 711510. Now that code is, as per the instructions, is for independent artists, writers, and performers. So I felt like with reviews, it's either writing or it can be video reviews, and I felt that writers, performers, being independent fits well within reviews. And I searched really hard to try to find that. If anyone has a code that you think fits better, for sure let me know. But I feel like that kind of encompasses videos and writing as is basically entertainment, is what these reviews are, as part of performing arts, specter sports, and related industries is the broader category that's under. So that is the principal, business, or profession, and that is the code. Okay, so next we get to accounting method. It has 3 different options: cash, accrual, or other, and it asks me to specify. So I decided to use this as a way to indicate that this business is very different than what you would expect, because there is actually no cash received. Now, for most businesses, that's the main flow of things, right? You have a product or a service and you receive cash for it. And so, the whole point of this is profit or loss from business. So the big question is did you have more cash coming in? Did you have more cash coming out? This is really the heart of things here, is accounting. So I picked number 3, other, and then I just stated no cash received. That to be an indicator to anyone reviewing it, being like, okay, I review products, but I do not receive any cash whatsoever for them under any circumstances. There was absolutely 0 cash, right? So I want to make that very clear from the outset. This is the situation. It is products in exchange for review, nothing more, nothing less. So no cash received. The next notable thing is it gets to the part where it talks about income. Now this is where things get really interesting. You start with gross receipts or sales. That's supposed to be the big number, right? In normal businesses, that would be the big number. I put 0 there. Absolutely 0. That's where most people put the amount that they get on their 1099. I put 0 because there was no gross receipts or sales. There was no income. So I put 0 there. Now that, again, is going to catch whoever's reviewing it, catch their attention, be like, okay, this is different. 0. So I get all the way down to other income, and that is where I put the amount on the 1099 form. Now you will notice that amount is very high, $55,267. That is the estimated value of the products I received reviewing products for Amazon Vine in 2022. It is a very high number. It's a number people have been asking me for a long time, and I finally decided to disclose it. I'm actually going to do a follow-up video showing you guys that you would think that that results in our house having a lot of nice stuff. It's not really the case. I'll get to that. But regardless, that was the amount, $55,267. So that's the gross income. And then you get to expenses. Now, all of these expenses, the typical business expenses, do not cover Amazon Vine items. You know, some people deduct like the part of their house that they use, the square footage that they use specifically for storing or reviewing Vine items, that sort of a thing. I decided to not go with any of that. I just deducted the full amount. And the way you do that, or at least the way that I did it, is you go all the way down to the next page in part 5, other expenses, because nothing else really applied. I went down to other expenses. List below business expenses not included on lines 8 through 26 or line 30. So here's everything else. There I put estimated value of review items received, value used up in review process. And then I put the full amount, $55,267. Now, characters are very limited in this form. That was the best way I could figure out to give the complete picture. This is what I'm deducting. This is the full amount of all of the items. The value was used up in the review process. I had to use them in order to review them. By law, I must use the product before I can review it. And so it is no longer considered inventory if you have to use it for your business. So I just put it there. I expect the IRS to have questions. I expect an auditor to look at this and be like, that's a lot of value to deduct. I expect them to have questions. Please audit me. I mean, I know it's bizarre to say, but I want to know, am I misleading people? Am I misled? You know, do I owe taxes on 55 grand? That would be a lot. It would. And it's so interesting to go through this process. I heard some people say like, oh, she's panicking or whatnot. I went into this very consciously. I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me. I knew exactly what I was getting into. My husband and I made the decision that because letting myself run loose with these items was so life-changing for my mental health that we decided it was worth it. And so it's a big number and it's a big risk to file this way. But I am really interested to find out how the IRS feels about this. The IRS is not supposed to be affected by emotions, right? Of like, oh, I think this person deserves it, or I think this person doesn't deserve it. Things are supposed to be very cut and dried, very black and white in terms of filing taxes. This is how you're supposed to do it. These are ways that, these are some loopholes, but they're legal loopholes, you know, that sort of a thing. But it should be very, very clear. And this is a situation where it is not clear. The income that I receive, income, that's products, is actually also the business expenses, and that brings my net income to zero, at least from Amazon Vine. So that's how I filed. It's been accepted and everything, and now we just wait to find out. Does it get flagged? Does an auditor contact me? And like I said, they have up to 3 years. So this is a long haul. Do not expect results right away. Do not expect that this means that you can go ahead and do it too. If you do it at your own risk. But I wanted to share exactly how I have approached this. So let me know if you have any questions. If there's enough questions, I might do a follow-up video of like answering your questions. But for the most part, I find this intense. I find it stressful to try to do this end of it. And so I'm only going to make videos if I actually have something new to say. I hope it was helpful to some of you, and we'll just see how this plays out. So thanks for hanging out with me. Bye.